renditions of a once powerful Native American metropolis located just east of St. Louis, Missouri, and many people have no idea just how expansive this site once was. The Cahokia Mound Complex stands as a testament to the often overlooked indigenous American history of the United States. Located in Collinsville, Illinois, across the Mississippi River from modern-day St. Louis, Missouri, Cahokia is the site of a Native American city which existed from about 900 to 1350 AD. Today, Cahokia is considered to be the largest and most advanced archaeological site north of the pre-Columbian cities in Mexico. At its peak, around 1100 AD, the city covered about 6 square miles and included around 120 earthworks. When I first saw artists' renditions of what Cahokia appeared like at its apex, it looked like something you would expect to see in Central or South America, not in Southwest Illinois. Cahokia challenges what I thought about civilizations in the ancient United States. I was quite intrigued as it looked nothing like the stereotypical portrayals of Native American civilizations we are exposed to. In mid-2022, I was planning a trip that would stop in St. Louis, and I was able to visit both Cahokia and the former site of Big Mound. Cahokia is assessed to have been the largest and most influential urban settlement of the Mississippian culture, which developed advanced societies across much of what is now the central and southeastern United States, and was active from about 800 to 1600 AD. Cahokia was located near the strategic intersection of the Mississippi, Missouri, and Illinois rivers. This positioned the city to maintain trade links with tribes as far away as the Great Lakes and the Gulf Coast. The highly planned, large, smoothed flat ceremonial plazas sited around the mounds, with homes for thousands connected by laid-out pathways and courtyards, suggest a complex and sophisticated society. The city's original name is unknown. The mounds were later named after the Cahokia tribe, which were the people living in the area when the first French explorers arrived in the 17th century. As this was centuries after Cahokia was abandoned by its original inhabitants, it is unknown if the Cahokia tribe was descended from the earlier Mississippian-era people. It's worth mentioning that the apex of this city occurred during the medieval warming period. This was a time of increased temperatures in the North Atlantic region, in which an agricultural boom in North America lasted from 950 to 1250 AD. This is important to note, as this event coincides very closely with the rise and fall of this civilization. At the peak of its development, archaeologists estimate the city's population to be up to 40,000 individuals. Cahokia was larger than any subsequent city in the United States until the 1780s. The decline of the city and ultimate abandonment is an enigma that is a common trend shared with many native cultures in the Americas. Massive complex cities that turned into ghost towns seemingly overnight, or so historical evidence would suggest. The population of Cahokia began to decline during the 13th century, and the site was eventually abandoned by around 1350 AD. As the people of Cahokia left no written records, archaeologists are left to debate the true reason for the population's disappearance. Researchers and scholars have proposed various reasons for the decline of the civilization, such as overhunting, deforestation, disease, and warfare, but a lack of evidence for these factors have left the abandonment a mystery. The other proposed explanation, and the one that I feel is most likely, were climatic changes, such as increased flooding and droughts. As I mentioned before, the city expanded quickly during the medieval warming period. However, that climate event was followed by another, known as the Little Ice Age, a cooler period in the North Atlantic lasting from 1400 to 1700 AD. In 2015, researchers found evidence of severe flooding events at Cahokia, the last one occurring during the decline of the city, promoting the theory of dramatic climate change as a contributing factor. The largest and most prominent feature at Cahokia is the pyramid structure of Monk's Mound, and was the central focus of the city. It remains the largest pre-Columbian earthwork in the Americas and the largest pyramid north of Mesoamerica. Monk's Mound was named after the community of French monks who resided there for a short time in the early 1800s, after Europeans settled in the area. At 100 feet high, 955 feet long, and 775 feet wide, Monk's Mound is roughly the same size at its base as the Great Pyramid of Giza. As a platform mound, the earthwork supported a wooden structure on the summit. Excavations on the top of Monk's Mound have revealed evidence of a large building, likely a temple or the residence of a chieftain, which would have been seen throughout the city, possibly the one so prominently displayed in artist recreations of the site. Unlike Egyptian or Mayan pyramids, which were built of stone, the platform mound was constructed almost entirely of layers of soil and clay. Because of this construction and its flattened top, it retains rainwater within the structure. Over centuries of no restoration work, the mound suffers from slumping and severe erosion. These issues have plagued Monk's Mound since initial construction and throughout the city's lifespan until its ultimate abandonment. No ancient city would be complete without an astrological observatory. The Cahokia Woodhenge was a series of large timber circles located about half a mile to the west of Monk's Mound. They are thought by archaeologists to be a type of solar calendar capable of marking equinox and solstice sunrises and sunsets for the timing of the agricultural cycles and religious observances. The wooden posts have been recreated to their original position in order to further understand astronomy practiced at Cahokia. The henge's astrological functions have been compared to the structures of England's well-known circles at Woodhenge and Stonehenge. Like many other ancient sites, the inhabitants of Cahokia found a deep importance with astrological markings and solar events. It seems as though every ancient culture has some connection to the stars. One of the more disturbing finds unearthed was at Mound 72. Located south of Monk's Mound, archaeologists unearthed over 250 skeletons in several mass graves. They believe that the majority of these were sacrificial victims, based on signs of violent execution and live burial. This activity could shed light on either the prosperity or decline of the city, though which one is still argued. Human sacrifice doesn't appear to be a common practice, as this has been the only evidence of this found at Cahokia so far. Mass sacrifices are not uncommon to the ancient Americas, and human sacrifice was most notably practiced by the Maya and Aztecs as offerings and tributes to the gods. Perhaps this is evidence of cross-cultural influence that spread to Cahokia. Up until the 1800s, a series of similar mounds existed in what is now the city of St. Louis, 8 miles to the west of Cahokia. In one of my previous videos, I discussed Big Mound, which is considered to be an extension of the Cahokia Mounds. Most of these mounds were leveled during the development of St. Louis, and much of their material was reused in construction projects. I began investigating and exploring ancient American mound sites in early 2022, and my views on indigenous American culture and civilizations have certainly been changed. As I've said with all of the other sites I've visited, I recommend taking time to visit Cahokia, and hopefully the museum will be finished with renovations soon. The city of Cahokia is truly an important chapter in the history of the United States, and thankfully it has been preserved as a UNESCO World Heritage Site.